I clone it, I need to change that to my name if I'm going to fly it. Otherwise, it's just going to show up for you. Okay, so once we get to here, we hit fly. Now we get that green thing at the top, and you can see, so mine is the colorful icon because it's a dummy mission.
Yeah.
A ready to fly mission will just be solid green in there, as opposed to the draft, which is the gray one there. Okay. I'm just going to sign into this meeting on my phone to share my screen.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I just need to switch organizations. We need to refresh first. Sorry, I just added myself into the organization right before this meeting.
Yeah.
So we just need to refresh that so that I get that information, that data. Okay, so now I enter Surf Lifesaving org, and I've got that mission ready to go. Again, green, ready to go. So to open that, I just tap on it. Okay, mission ready. So each stage of this is going to be activated by this slider at the bottom, just in case you're on a phone and you put it in your pocket. Don't want to bump it and move on like that. But before we jump into that, if you tap on the name of the mission in that bar at the top there where it says ready, then you actually have all of that mission planning information as well. So I can see the NOTAM that I added, for example. I've got all the basic information. I've got radio frequency. And just a reminder, my max height was 250, so I've got a reminder of that. Move across. If I had any crew notes in there, I can see all of that information. And then if I want to jump into the JSA, I can do that here, but probably no need to do that now. But basically, that's there as a reference if I ever need to check anything. I can get a full screen map view as well by tapping that little icon with the arrows, move around the map. And then when I'm ready, I just slide the slider at the bottom of the screen there. And then it's going to take me to the next stage. In this case, I've got a pre-operational briefing document. So this is, I think, intended to have multiple crew. So you've got like an observer or someone like that?
Yeah, so there's observers on the Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast, so that's where they have the two crew. Some of the other locations, a single operator.
Okay. No worries. So again, series of prompts, right? So we're going to first discuss a brief overview of the mission, launch and landing area. Yeah, I won't go through it all, but as we have that discussion, we're just ticking these items off to make sure that we're not missing anything. And you can see the button at the bottom there, it's gray, save and close. That's because these are all mandatory fields, these red ones. So once I've ticked them all off, the button changes and I can actually proceed, complete the form and move on. And we save that and then move on to the next. So tap for the next screen. And then start pre-flight. Now, I've only got one drone on this mission, which I think will be how it normally is, and one remote pilot, right? So that'll just come up pre-selected. You do have to do something with battery set. If you don't want to go through and find the battery, because we'll collect flight logs and the battery serial will be in the logs, we just tap that first one, reconcile later. It's basically saying we'll just sort it out afterwards from the logs, and then I can move to the next screen. Okay. So I've got the pre-flight checklist to do, and again, mandatory tick boxes here. So I'm just going along, do my visual inspection, tick, check propellers, etc. Just tick these off as I complete the checks. Again, can make any notes at the bottom there, and then just hit complete. So I think just disregard this this second one. That's actually not one of yours. That is attached to that sample Phantom 4 that I selected for the mission.
Okay.
So that won't appear. Okay. I hit next and then ready to launch. So we've done our, briefing, done our pre-flight, ready to go. Swipe that to start the timer, and then the app just starts timing. At this point, I would just flick out of Fly Freely into DJI app if I'm running them on the same device, or I just lock the phone, put it in my pocket, go on the controller if it's a different device, and do the flying stuff. The flight timer will come back to here once we're done flying and actually stop the timer. So just like that. The timer will obviously have an approximate flight time, won't be really precise. When the log comes in and you've got the precise flight time there, that will overwrite the
So
timer.
You can do all your flights for that mission and then come back into the app on the controller and then stop the timer.
You can do that, yeah. You can either do it each flight, which is sort of the more, the old school way of doing it, I suppose, and then doing a pre-flight each time. But realistically, if you're doing like 3 flights, you've done a pre-flight, you're probably just swapping batteries after each one. You can just leave this running. We'll collect 3 flight logs and generate 3 flights based off that.
Yeah.
So, I can edit this if I want to. I'm not going to bother because, again, you'll collect the flights, but that'll have my time. I hit next, and then I now have the option, if I go, oh, actually, I've got to go and fly again, I hit that, and it will take me back to the pre-flight stage. Or if I'm done, I just hit end all flying. Incident report, actually, the button's there, but the feature's not there yet. So don't worry about that one. You can make incident reports in the Office app afterwards. So it's really just the 2. So assuming that you've let the timer run for all of your flying in that mission, you just now select end all flying.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, have you completed all flight operations? Yes. And then we do have the post-flight end-of-day checklist here.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, just tick them off as we confirm that we've done these things. Tick. Then complete. And then the final thing we need to do is just make the serviceability declaration here. So, we've operated this drone. It was serviceable before. Is it still serviceable Obviously, if there was, if we crashed it or something like that, we'd say unserviceable. Let's assume we didn't. And then we just have to make that declaration. And then move on to the end. So mission's now been completed. And it's turned blue because blue is completed. So if I stop sharing that and go back to sharing my laptop. If I hit refresh on this one now, we should see that that's updated to complete. And you can see it's blue for completed now instead of green. And that's actually fine. Like, as far as Fly Freely, the software is concerned, you can just leave that as completed. What you may wish to sort of implement as a standard procedure, though, is to finalize the mission. Yeah. So what this basically does is switches it to read-only now, if we finalize it. Yeah. You know, so we can't retroactively go and change records and things like that. When you present this, like if you're lucky enough to have a CASA audit, when they renew your REOC or something, then, I mean, they're not so familiar with the software that they know what finalize means, but if it is finalized, you can say this record is now locked. As you can see, you can't edit it. You know, it's a proper record, I suppose. So before we do that, we might just hit edit there. And you can make any notes about this. Like if we're doing a shark patrol and there were sharks spotted, you may want to note them. I don't know, you probably do that anyway somewhere, but there are these notes fields you can make use of. We can update sort of actual times and dates if we need to change anything there, and update details of flights. So for example, I said I was going to fly the P4P1. Actually, I took the wrong one out with me, and I ended up flying, I'll probably, one of these others flew that drone instead, right? And now we've got a complete record of that. And basically now I've got a record that I flew the correct drone. If we collect the flight logs, then that will also show in here. Each flight will have a log attached to it, and it will update battery set. Obviously, it'll be the correct RPA, and you'll get coordinates and things like that for each flight. We can check down here. We can see we've marked that one as serviceable. If I decide that was wrong, I can change it to unserviceable, and it will take that aircraft out of service. But assuming everything's correct, I can just come in here, have a quick look, and then just hit finalize. And that's just now locked the record.
How long will it take, say, if you're flying from the app on the controller, you finish flying, how long will those records sort of take to upload to the website before you can turn the controller off?
So they will upload at the same time as your mission data. So assuming you've got a connection, Gold Coast is fine. When you finish it on the app, and you get that message that says you can now view it in the Office app, it's already done.
All the flights are on there.
Yeah. So instant for all intents and purposes. The only one that takes longer is if you're using the DJI Cloud Sync. If you're not using a smart controller. Yeah.
So by using the smart controller, we're circumnavigating, having to use the cloud and upload to cloud and then download from cloud.
And waiting for probably overnight in most cases for that to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, the smart controller is easily the best way to do this. It's also one less device to worry about fiddling with. You've got a controller and a phone and sort of managing that. You just do everything on this one device. Switch apps, fly, switch back, do your post flight, and everything will sort itself out automatically.
Yeah.
So that's now complete record. We've got the mission says finalized. Now, if I come back the next day and I want to fly the same thing or the same general mission or location, just come over here and clone the mission on the right. So that does now bring up the mission planning screen again, but it's all pre-populated. Okay, so I've already got the same name. I can edit it if I need to. So if you were doing the next day's one, you'd just update it like that. And then again, can edit the template as required. I've got all of the aerodrome information. I still have that NOTAM. I think that's because this NOTAM is still in its time. So if that NOTAM expires in the meantime, it'll disappear, obviously.
Yeah.
I can also check NOTAMs again for anything new. Go down and I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but you get the idea, right? So I can acknowledge the workflow. It'll start airspace checking, blah, blah, blah. And then I can come down here, change the pilot if it's different, and so on. Okay. Yeah, and all of that will come up pre-populated. When I'm ready, I just hit fly again. And once again, the mission will go to the app for whoever's the nominated pilot there.